All right, everyone, welcome back to the Unfiltered and Unstoppable podcast. I'm your host, Just Before Dark. So, I actually want to talk a little bit more, an extension of the podcast we talked about yesterday. So, yesterday we were talking about motivation versus dedication, like having the discipline to follow through on the item that you are dedicated on versus looking for motivation to get that done. And how if you rely only on motivation, you will fail every time because you will run out of motivation. It's only for a small part of your goal that motivation will help. And then obviously there's going to be times while you're during your goal that like something will remotivate you to continue to keep going. But like in those lulls, you have to rely on your dedication and your discipline. Well, I had a friend that recently reached out and she said, yes, this all makes sense to me. This is a great mindset to have, but what if like your dedication kind of starts to feel like borderline obsession? She recently had a little bit of a medical setback that she was worried that it would hinder her ability to continue with the challenge. And then she found herself almost like stressing about it, thinking about like, okay, how am I going to do the next workout or my meal prep or anything that I had to do, right? And so I agree completely. So let me, if you, whether this is your first podcast with me or your 10th, 11th, 12th, whatever the case may be, I want to remind you that I am no way, shape, or form a licensed professional. I am not a therapist. I am not a scientist. I am not anything. I am not educated. So all I can really talk about is just personal experience so that maybe you have somebody that you're like, okay, I'm not alone with these feelings, right? Somebody else has felt the same way as me. And so with that said, sometimes it helps for me to just kind of take a step back and give everything a little bit of perspective. So I would say, yeah, like it is borderline obsession. I think dedication, obsession, and addiction are almost the same thing depending on the like perspective you're looking at it. Like if somebody's training for a marathon, so every single day at 6 o'clock in the morning, they get up and they go for a run. In their head, they are disciplined. They are disciplined and they are dedicated to their goal. However, to a friend or a family member who is saying like sleep in tomorrow, like take a rest day, come do something else, and they get turned down saying, no, I have to do this thing. To them, that looks like an obsession. You're obsessed or borderline addicted to this behavior. Like it almost causes cause for concern depending on the viewpoint, right? And so I'd be willing to say, yeah, it's all kind of relative to the same traits. It just depends on how you look at it. I am from a family that has a lot of addictive tendencies with either drugs or alcohol or just bad habits, right? So I don't know if that's hereditary or if you could blame it. I don't know. I don't fucking know. Okay. All I know is I saw myself going down a rabbit hole with like addictive behaviors with bad habits, almost like obsessive. Like this is just what I do. And it wasn't until I changed that behavior to good habits that I see it still. Like if I'm picking up a new hobby, all of a sudden I become like hyper focused on it, hyper obsessive with that new hobby. That's how I got into like reading my fiction books. That's then how I got into this health and wellness side. Like every time I pick up a new hobby, it's almost like addicting, right? Like I want to pick that up and focus on it. And I think that only looks bad to the people if you're looking at it in that kind of perspective. So I truly believe that if you are doing a challenge and you're setting forth and you have this dedication to it, it will borderline on feeling of obsessiveness when you look at the end of the day and you're like, I didn't meet my goal. I want to meet my goal. And all I think that really is your internal drive. It's your internal balance being like, hey, we can still do this. Like, I still want to do this. This is still the goal we're working towards. And I think that's a fucking amazing feeling to have because the only thing that's going to turn that off is just getting up and doing it, right? Like, just getting up and doing the thing, even if you have to, like, find a new normal, like, okay, like maybe right now my ankle fucked up, so I can't really walk on it. So instead I'm going to go use a row machine that helps with my arms or do like an ab workout, arm workout, do something different to get that sense of I completed that today, right? Scratch that itch, if you will. But if you really want to dive deeper into it, I sometimes think about it in like, let's look deeper into why we even think the way we do. Like, why do we even think like, oh, being obsessed with a good goal is a negative thing, right? Like, and I think it's society. Like, the societal norms are kind of fucked, honestly, when you think about it. Like, I could go and say I had 12 drinks last night. Like, I crushed a whole case of White Claws and I feel like shit today, but tonight I'm going to go drinking again. And no one bats an eye. Everyone's like, hell yeah, rally girl, you got this. But I say I ran 6 miles yesterday. My legs are really fucking sore, but I'm still going to go run 6 miles tonight. And everyone's like, oh my God, you psycho. Fucking crazy. You need to take a break. You need to take care of your body. Think about that for a second. Like, what? It doesn't make sense. And I think it's because our society pushes, if you do too much of a bad thing, it's all right, we've all been there. But if you do too much of a good thing, that's crazy. You're a little psychopath. That's wild. And I think that gives us who are trying to do good things, like this self-doubt and this mindset shift of like, oh my gosh, my ankle hurts a little bit today. Everyone would tell me to step off my ankle and like totally rest it until it's completely back fine. But yet you kill your liver every night and no one's telling you to give your liver a break. Like, let's make it make sense, right? And I think another reason why like I think this way too is, again, I talked about this, David Goggins, which is somebody I read about. He ran on broken legs. Both of his legs were broken in multiple places during his third and final stint of Hell Week. He had 3 chances to make it to become a Navy SEAL, and he failed out of his first 2 Hell Weeks, and he was on his last and final chance, and his legs were broken, and he had to fucking run. There was no way out. And that man duct taped his legs and ran on broken legs. And he is still in the best shape of his life in his 50s and is an icon in the fitness and health wellness industry. Like, a lot of people think he's fucking psycho. I think he's crazy. He's a crazy motherfucker. That's fine. I'm not going to go run on broken legs. But when everybody says like, oh my goodness, you have a little bit of joint pain, stop doing that. You don't have to. Like, you can keep pushing. Like, there's like something in your brain apparently that taps you out at your 40% capacity. So when you're like at the gym and you're like, this is my max, this is really 40% of what you're actually capable of. And no one actually ever pushes you to get to that 100%. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to go from 40% capacity to 41% and then keep going and keep going. And you're going to feel every single time like you gave it your all, but you didn't. You didn't. I'm still not there. I'm still at my fucking 40%. And I'm here on this podcast today. It's something you have to mentally work for. And it's fucking hard. Okay. But to get there, get to that level of greatness, you have to be able to say like, my dedication, obsession, addiction, whatever it is that you want to call it, is worth it to me. And everyone else's mindset has kind of like a warped sense. And I'm not going to let that kind of get in my own head. So that, I mean, again, there's no right answer, right? Like, if you want to take a day off, take a day off. If you need to take a day off, you take a day off. But do you have to? Like, if that dog in you is going like, hey, come on, you didn't do the things said you did, that means your brain's ready to go. Like, you just got to say, okay, fine, I'll just fuck it up. Let's get it up. Like, let's fuck it up, get it up, whatever. Anyway, let's get up and do it. I don't know if any of that made sense, but that's kind of the mindset shift I have. Like, that's how I talk myself through it. Like, everybody's so quick to say, like, take a break when you're doing something good. And I don't know, guys. I think that's just society's way of thinking nowadays. And I think it's kind of fucked. I'm not going to lie. I think it's kind of fucked. So, yeah. Anyway, I hope that helped. And if it didn't, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. But anyway, I hope that everyone has the best day ever. And I will see everyone tomorrow. Bye.